I'm happy to meet you today with a new video about subnetting in packet tracer. When I say subnetting, a subnet is a logical division of an IP network, dividing the network into two or more networks is known as subnetting. So today we will see how to do subnetting and implement the divided networks into the packet tracer, and we'll also check whether they're able to communicate with each other. So the given IP address range is 192.168.1.0/27. So this is actually the IP range that is given to us, which we have to subnet. /27 means that the subnet mask will have 27 ones, as it is shown here. The first octet will be full, second full, third full, and in the fourth octet you have 3 ones. The meaning of this 192.168.1.0/27. So the subnet is going to have 27 ones in this fashion. Now, to calculate how many hosts that can be there in the resulting subnet, see, the last one is having the decimal value of 32. This one will have the value of 128. The second one will have the value of 64. The third one will have the value of 32. So this is telling us that there will be 32 hosts in the network in the given IP 192.168.1.0/27 address. So the division of the subnetwork will have the numbers starting from 0 to 31, 32 to 63, the second subnet, third subnet is 64 to 95, fourth one 96 to 127, fifth one is 128 to 159, sixth one is 160 to 191, seventh one is 192 to 223, and the eighth one is 224 to 255. So there will be 8 networks with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.224. So let me implement this one. Let me pick up some routers. Router 2911. Let me take one more router. Okay. And let us add 2 PCs to them. Let's connect them. Before connecting, let me check whether this router 2911 has a serial port by default. So there is no serial port, so I have to add it. So let us switch off the router. So we have put the serial port to this router, and let us power on the router. And the same thing we'll do with this router. Power of the router, add a serial port, power on, done. Now we have added the serial port to router 0 and router 1. Now let me go and connect these PCs with the router and the router to router. So automatically it's the serial port connection, and now you have the PC1 connected to router 1. So let us specify our IP range so that things are clear for the viewers. So here we have 192.168.1.34. This is for this PC, and for this router interface it will be 192.168.1.33. And here it will be, let us take the next address range, 64, yeah, okay, 192.168.1.65, and this interface will be 192.168.1.66, and this interface will be 192.168.1. The third address range is between 96 to 127. I can choose anything. So let me choose this to be 97. And this will be 192.168.1.98. 1.98. So just let us just try to assign this IP address to various interfaces. This one is for this SE0, 65 for this one, 33 for this gigabit Ethernet, and this 34 for the PC. Okay, so let me do the configuration. Let me go to the PC. Stop. Static 192.168.1.34, 1.34. Subnet mask is 224, yeah, as calculated. 128 plus 64 plus 32, that is 224. And the gateway will be 192.168.1.33. So this is actually the PC configuration. So let me close it, then go to the router 0. So let us go to the configuration, and now first let me configure the gigabit Ethernet. So the gigabit Ethernet will be 192.168.1.33. Subnet mask will be 224. Port status on. Okay, right. Next, what is there? Then it is the serial interface 0/1/0. So for that one, the IP address range is 192.168.1.65. Subnet mask is 224, and we are just making the port to be on. So this side is done. So let us go to this interface of the router 1. So I have to configure the serial interface 0/1/0, and that IP address will be 192.168.1.66. Subnet mask is 224. Port should be on. And what is the other interface here? That is the gigabit 0/0. So that should be configured with 192.168.1.97, and the subnet mask is 224. I'm just enabling it. So both the routers are configured and the PC is configured. Now what is left is this PC, and let us configure that PC also. Static IP address 192.168.1.98. Subnet mask is 224, and the gateway is 192.168.1.97. So this is the gateway. So we close, and this is our network, the subnetted network from the IP address 192.168.1.0/27. Let me check whether these devices are able to communicate. We will take a packet and click on the router. Successful. So let us take from here PC 0 to router 1. It says failed. Let us check again. From here to this one, it is saying failed. And from this PC to this router, so dear friends, we will check the communication from this PC to this router, successful, and this router to this router is successful. Also from this PC to this PC is failed. Okay, why? Because at this moment this router knows about this network and this network, and about the third network it doesn't have any idea. And the same way, for this router needs a configuration to know or to add this network into its route. Thereby the communication between the end devices, the PC1 and PC0, can be successful. So for that purpose, let me go to the router 0, and I am going to teach the router about this network, that is 192.168.1.96 network. Okay, so just let me do that. 192.168.1.96, and 1.96 is this network, and the next hop interface is 192.168.1.66. So I am going to add it. Let me close the router and come again. So PC0 and PC1 are unable to communicate. Why? Because actually the router 2 does not have any information about this 192.168.1.96 network, and the same way this PC1 will not be able to communicate with PC0. The reason being that the router R1 will have no information regarding the network 192.168.1.32. So we have to add the routing information to these routers. So when I go to the router R2, I will be adding the information about the third network, that is 192.168.1.96. Subnet mask obvious, 192.168.1.66 is this interface of the router 1. So go to the router 1 and the static routing option we choose, and then 192.168.1.32, that is this network about which we are going to feed the information to this router subnet mask, and then through the interface, next hop interface is 192.168.1.65. So once we do this one, now we can see that the end devices are capable of communicating with each other successfully. Successful, right? So this is the end of our subnetting CIDR tutorial. I will come up with a new tutorial and then I will upload it very soon. Thank you very much.